Have you ever watched one of those superhero movies and just wished you had your own Jarvis? Like a personal AI working just for you, handling everything in the background? Well, guess what? Today, we're actually going to build one. And the best part? We're going to do it completely for free, using this amazing open source tool called OpenClaw. So let's dive right in. And I'm not kidding, really think about it for a second. An AI that lives on your own server, talks to you right through your phone, and it can actually do stuff. This isn't just some chatbot. It manages tasks, it keeps an eye on your systems, and it actually remembers who you are. And yeah, that is exactly what we're building today.
Okay, so before we jump into the build, we gotta get our tools together. And you're gonna be surprised at how simple this is. We only need 3 key things to get this whole thing up and running.
So first up, you'll need a virtual private server, a VPS. Just think of it like your own little computer tucked away in the cloud. You can grab one from a place like Hetzner for like $5 a month. Super cheap. Next, you need a Google Gemini API key. We're going to be using the Flash model, which is awesome because it's super fast and, more importantly, it's free. And last but not least, you just need a standard Telegram account. That's going to be our direct line to our new AI assistant. All right, got your tools? Good. Now for the fun part, the actual build. I promise, this is a super straightforward 4-step process. And by the time we're done, you are going to have a fully functional AI assistant just waiting for your commands. So here's the game plan. First, we'll get the server ready, then we'll install OpenClaw, and you won't believe how easy that is. After that, we'll set up its AI brain, and finally, we'll connect it all up to Telegram so we can actually start talking to it. Okay, step 1, prepping the server. First things first, you're going to want to set up your VPS with Ubuntu. A setup with, say, 2 virtual CPUs and 4 gigs of RAM is going to be perfect for this. Now, listen up, because this next part is super important. You have to install Node.js, and you have to make sure it's version 22. Seriously, everything else depends on getting this right. And you are going to love this next part. The installation is, well, it's ridiculously simple. Once you're logged into your server's terminal, you literally just run a single command. That's it. 1 line of code, and it kicks off the entire installation and setup process all by itself. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so during that setup process, it's going to ask you to choose an AI model. This is basically the brain for our assistant. And the choices we make here are pretty strategic, We're going for something that's fast, powerful, and, you guessed it, totally free. So, for the model provider, we're picking Google Gemini. Why? Because it's fast and it's free to use. You'll just have to sign in with your Google account. It's super easy. And specifically, we're selecting the Gemini Flash Model. The reason for that is it has a huge token limit. And what that means for you is you can have much, much longer and more complicated conversations with your AI before you even come close to hitting any kind of usage cap. All right, we are on the home stretch. This is the last big step of the build, connecting our server to our phone. To make that happen, we're going to pop over to Telegram and create a new bot using a special tool that's built right in. So what you do is you search for a special user in Telegram called BotFather. Sounds dramatic, I know. You just send it a quick command to create a new bot, you give your bot a name, and in return, BotFather spits out this long string of letters and numbers. That's your API token. Think of it like a secret key. It's the one thing that connects everything together. You'll just copy that key, paste it back into your server setup when it asks, and boom, that's the magic link between your OpenClaw assistant and your new bot on Telegram. Okay, take a breath. The assistant is built. Congratulations. But right now, it's kind of like a blank slate. The real magic, the real power of OpenClaw comes from teaching it what to do using custom prompts. This is where we go from a simple chatbot to a genuine personal assistant. So the very first and honestly the most important prompt you'll set up is called the soul configuration. This is where you tell the AI who you are and, more importantly, who it should be. With just this one prompt, you're giving it a personality, a purpose. You're setting the entire context for every single conversation you'll have from now on. It always remembers this, so it always knows exactly how to talk to you. And this is where you really see that OpenClaw is so much more than a chatbot. You can give it time-based commands just using plain English. So when you say something like, remind me in 1 minute to create a video, OpenClaw doesn't just understand the words. It actually reaches into your server and creates a real automated task, what's called a cron job in the tech world, to make sure you get that reminder at the exact right time. How cool is that? And really, that right there gets to the heart of what makes this so different. A simple chatbot, It just chats. But an OpenClaw assistant can chat and it can take action. A regular chatbot lives on some big company server. This one, it lives on yours. A chatbot forgets you the second the conversation's over. OpenClaw always remembers that sole configuration we set up. It's a genuinely powerful tool, not just a fun little toy. Okay, you ready for another total game changer? You can actually ask your assistant about the health of the server it's running on. Yeah, no more logging in and trying to remember complex Linux commands. You just ask it a question in plain English. And then, this is what you get back. Behind the scenes, OpenClaw runs all the necessary commands for you, it figures out what the output means, and then it presents it to you in this super clean, easy-to-read table right there in your Telegram chat. You can ask what's hogging the CPU or which folders are eating up all your disk space. It is literally like having a system administrator in your pocket. Of course, with all this power comes a little bit of responsibility, so before we wrap things up, let's go over a few really important tips on how to use your new assistant safely and, what to do if you happen to run into any little bumps in the road. Okay, and this stuff is really critical, so please pay attention. First, treat this AI just like any other tool online. Never, ever give it sensitive info like passwords or your bank details. Just don't. Second, be really careful if you decide to give it root or administrator access because that gives it complete control over your server. And finally, a little pro tip. If your bot ever stops responding, the classic turn it off and on again trick usually works. You just restart its gateway service on the server, and that'll fix most common problems. And just like that, there you have it. Your very own, honest-to-goodness personal AI assistant running on your own server, ready and waiting for your commands. You could use it to keep yourself organized, to monitor your systems, or maybe even to invent completely new ways of getting things done. The possibilities here are, well, they're pretty much endless. So I guess the only question left is, what's the very first thing you're going to ask it to do?